I don't know if you knew this or not, but this is episode 9.
Yes.
How does that make you feel?
Interesting. We've been doing this for 9 to 10 weeks, maybe a little more. If I think we missed one.
Yeah. I think we've only missed one.
So this is the 10th week since we started. That's over
Do you feel
2
any?
months.
Do you feel? And you can be honest. You don't need to worry about hurting my feelings or anything. Do you feel as if it's an accomplishment in your own realm of life, or or does this, this little thing that we do hold no weight in your life whatsoever?
I don't think it's either of those. I'm not saying it's not an accomplishment. I think it's a good thing that we've stuck with it for.
Wow, I would agree with you.
But I don't think that there was ever too much of a risk that we wouldn't. I mean, we have fun with it, so there's that.
You know what? I'm so glad that you said that, because there have been some times I've questioned it, but no, I'm truly glad that you have fun with it. And yeah, I guess I'll say that I have fun with you. And with that, we are the Greater Mythos podcast. I didn't say it last week for like the first hour and a half. We're a very unorganized podcast. We talk about video games, movies, and everything in between. I'm Josh here. Josh, we're here again, 9th or 10th week, as we previously discussed. Last week, we dove deep, didn't we? We dove deep into the world of DC, the underworld. We were in the underworld of Gotham. We had some pit sweat going on. Got to talk about DC fandom, and yeah. Time will tell with those, huh?
And on that note, the first topic I wrote is Batman, so I thought we could start with that.
Let's do it. I have a Batman glass with me as we speak.
Of course you do.
Thank you.
Anyway, so the Arkham games, the trilogy, they were free on Epic Games Store for a while. I already owned them, but I know a lot of people started replaying them, and so there's been more discussion about the games. And that new game, the Gotham Knights, that's coming out, is very similar in style. It will be like co-op and all that.
Yeah.
So a lot of discussion has started again, and it got me wanting to play the Arkham games again.
Yes. Good games. So you said they were free. Was it because I remember seeing a few weeks ago or a few days, time has no construct anymore. It was Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight. I believe they were on sale as a pack for like $12 on the Microsoft Store for a while.
It might have happened at the same time. It was those 3 games were free, not Origins, the spinoff.
Yeah, which I thought was fine. Did we ever talk about Origins? Did you play that one?
So my thing with Origins is I haven't really given it a fair shot, so I can't really review it. I played it a bit, but I always get to this part where you have to like run around and get the towers or whatever, and I never completed it. So I can't really give my review. I can definitely tell that it's different than the previous 2. There's changes. It was made by a different studio, I think.
It was something Montreal. I can't remember. Was it Rocksteady? Was it Rocksteady that did them?
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, no, those are good games, and I swear I'm not just saying this. It's a coincidence that you brought up the Arkham games, because I just reinstalled Arkham Knight later last week, because I was like, I need to put on a cowl and go beat the crap out of some people. So I did.
So Arkham Knight, I've heard mixed reviews about that. What's your opinion of Arkham Knight?
The biggest, besides just a review of the game itself, from what I can remember, some of the biggest controversies, if you will, when the game came out almost 5-ish years ago, was that a lot of it just ran like trash. I think maybe it was just on PC. I can't remember. But yeah, a lot of people having a lot of crashes, a lot of bugs and stuff like that. Did you beat it? I forget.
I have not. I have played and beaten the first 2. I have not.
Yeah.
Beaten
no, it's I liked it just fine. I mean, it's super pretty. It's a pretty game. They really nail their graphics and stuff like that. The world is pretty sweet. You're actually in Gotham for the most part. You get the Batmobile. That's pretty dope. As far as the story and stuff, I don't know. I have my opinions when it comes to games and movies, stories and stuff like that, but I've never really found any piece of media that I'm, a hill that I want to die on when it comes to this was bad and this was not. No, I think a lot of people saw the twist, if you even want to call it a twist, coming at the beginning of the game and stuff like that. But I think it's worth a play, especially if they're freaking free.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a steal.
Yeah, so I don't own that one, and I didn't get it. I heard about the free
Oh,
event
right.
afterwards, but I'm tempted to buy it because I'm like I said, like you, I was getting the itch to play those games. So
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely worth a touch. Worth a touch? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say it like that. Interesting. Worth a grab. Is that better?
I don't know.
Huh.
It's all up to your mindset.
I would prefer it's not.
Well, came out of your mouth, so.
Well, I plead the fifth.
But I am interested, and I was thinking about just playing City again, but I've already played a ton of that
City's
game.
good, man. I remember playing. This is not going to matter to you at all. That's fine. I remember playing Arkham City. Um, when did that come out? Was that? Holy cow! When did that come out? Because Arkham Knight came out in 2015. Hang on, we'll bring this up. This is mainly just for my own reminiscent sake.
It was definitely a while ago.
Arkham City. Oh my gosh, 2011, dude. Oof.
So
No, big fan.
So
I
Asylum
remember.
was then before 2010. It had to have been.
Yeah.
Wow.
Here I'll bring that up as I reminisce about Arkham City. I remember playing Arkham City, in one, my old bedroom 2 houses ago, and really feeling accomplished at some of the, if you want to call them puzzles or whatever that like some of the missions had, as far as like you got to get from A to B and you can't just go straight. You got to do all this, that, and the other. Because I'm not sure if I've said this before, and I will go on record now. I have very low tolerance for like for puzzles and like mazes and oh my gosh, like all the ones that were in like Jedi Fallen Order. Those freaking like you got to move the ball here, then you got to move the ball there, then you got to do the hokey pokey and shake it all about. Oh my gosh, I can't do it. Even there's a little bit in Skyrim too, but those are a little bit more straightforward, I feel.
To be honest though, the Fallen Order puzzles, they could have taken them out. They weren't the most well made puzzles. That ball is infuriating.
I'm telling you, dude. Oh my gosh. Arkham Asylum 2009, by the way.
2009.
2009, man. 11 years.
11 years ago. And the game looked good, like really good
Oh, yeah.
for 2009. That's incredible.
I would say that it still holds up. So does Arkham City.
They do. City does. I was watching my friend play it the other day, also making me want to play it more. And yeah, it still looks good. I mean, the city looks good. There's still some textures here and there if you look too close,
yeah.
but for a 2011 game, that's incredible.
Oh yeah. So I'm going down a dark hole of Google images of Arkham Asylum. The bat ears on the cowl for Arkham Asylum, they had some height to them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at them right now. That's like if I was a betting man, I'd say that's about at least 2 feet of clearance for those bat ears. Harley's really diving into the what's the word?
I don't know.
Nurse, psychotic nurse outfit going on.
Yeah.
Zaz is there. Well, yeah, what a time, man. Yep, good games. I currently have the Dawn of Justice bat suit equipped, and the Dawn of Justice Batmobile equipped on Arkham Knight. So living large,
Of course, you definitely liked that movie.
I liked it fine.
Wow, that's more tempered than the last time we talked about it.
I'm because we talked about it. We had our opinions. We had a text thread today. I gave my opinions. I'll stop. My passions. I'll keep my passions to myself.
Can't hide your enthusiasm. I've already seen it.
I can't hide my enthusiasm. It's fine. It's fine. That's fine. No, that's good. In the spirit of video games and superheroes and caped crusaders and vigilantes and hey, we dropped Sokovia onto a city, we should probably have an Accords to not do it again. The Avengers game comes out tomorrow.
Speaking of the Sokovia Accords, that still bothers me that
Oh
anybody
my God.
would ever
God.
support those accords. Like, yeah, we can't trust ourselves, so let's put all of our power in the hands of corrupt government officials. That's a bright idea.
It is voting season, my friend.
Maybe
your vote counts.
Maybe if they put all their power in the hands of like just the only country that seems to be good in the entire world, which is Wakanda, because everybody else is just untrustworthy in that movie.
Well, first off, rest in peace, Mr. Chadwick, and your legacy and all that crazy stuff. Yeah. Wakanda forever.
Like that man did incredible things during it
Correct.
all. Like
Correct.
getting
Like filmed movies
yes.
for one.
Well, yeah, that's just stressful in its own right.
Right.
But then to be a Marvel hero, you have to like have the
Dude.
body for it and
Oh yeah.
maintain the body for it.
Oh yeah.
That's a lot
It's
of
insane.
work.
Yep, it's insane. Yeah, everyone at least in our sphere is probably aware, so we'll no need to dwell. But yep, Avengers tomorrow, my friend. I don't have an alarm set because apparently GameStop opens at like 10, or at least the one that I'm going to, so
You're
I can
going
sleep
to
in.
a physical location.
Well, I told you what I did. I ended up trading in some old games, so I didn't have to pay full price. That was the main thing. So I only owe a little bit, so I'm gonna go in. So I'm probably gonna end up just leaving the physical case of the game like in my showcase room in which I sit as we speak. I'm stoked, man. I mean, we've kind of talked that to death, but I just figured I'd bring it up since it's tomorrow. I plan on sinking some hours in. They announced. I'm not sure if you saw this. It was more or less teased in one of the newer, they call them War Table, like War Table, not like a conference, but they've been doing like news recap videos for the game for the past couple months. I think past couple months. They more or less teased this past one that they did a few days ago that there will be a Black Panther, DLC coming down the line. There wasn't any actual content, but there was an emblem, and as they honored, Chadwick and all that good stuff. But they did show that one of the post launch contents will be Kate Bishop, who is Hawkeye Part 2, who will be a new character and a new playable story missions that go along with Hawkeye and stuff like that. And she's supposedly getting her own series on Disney Plus at some point before we all perish. I hope.
I hope so too. Just like I really hope that Mandalorian 2 comes out soon.
Hey, Mandalorian, that's on my list. October 30th, season 2 release date.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. And
yeah,
I don't know, I really want to just watch it all in one go.
Yeah, well, I didn't mean to sound concerned in that last I was not only was I responding to you, but I was recapping the whole first season in my head. I was thinking of everything that happened. No, you're right. That would oh man, hopefully Sarah will let us do that. Binge watch the first season either the week of or the prior week just to kind of get caught up. And no, I really look forward to that too. That should be pretty good.
Yeah.
Something to look freaking forward to.
Yeah, and I mean the news that Boba might be showing up in it.
Oh my gosh. Did you see that? I'm not sure if it was a conspiracy theory so much as a whatever. That I can't remember what episode it's in, but it had to do with one of the female bounty hunters, and like I believe Mando knocked her out, and then like at the end of the episode, it showed her waking up, and then like someone was walking up to her or whatever. Do you remember that at all?
You talking about bounty hunters? You talking about the rebel, the previous rebel girl?
It's not. Gosh, what's her name? It's not her. It's not. Cara Dune. It's not her. Or Cara, whoever. Gosh, I don't remember what the name was. I need to rewatch
the first season. It's been a while.
Yeah, you and me both. But yeah, supposedly he's gonna be showing up, and people were like, "Oh," and it's gonna be the Django actor, which I'm all for. But then like, "Oh, but isn't even about the Mandalorian anymore." Oh, they're going for all these crazy wild things. But I say, why not?
Okay, I don't know who would make those complaints, but
the internet.
They're anti-fun. That's what those people are.
Anti-fun?
Yes. Django or Boba playing with the Django actor is going to be showing up, and if you're anything but excited,
it's pretty sweet.
Then you're hurt.
It's pretty sweet.
Let yourself have fun with this. I mean, this is going to be great. And
what a quote. Let yourself have fun with this. Just let your hair down. Just have a good time.
We've all been stuck in our homes for 6 to 8 months. And the last thing we need to be doing is taking away any thread of hope we have, okay?
Yeah, man.
Mandalorian Season 2 is the hope of the universe.
This is the way.
It is the way.
It is the way.
And I have spoken.
I love us. Oh my gosh, you have. It's so good. Go ahead.
Speaking of speaking.
Yeah.
Mario 3D All-Stars has been announced.
What? What?
It is going to be Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy all in one game on the Switch.
When was this announced?
Recently, like a day or two ago, I think.
Okay, because I know some people, I don't know them personally, But I listened to some people who were very much looking forward to Mario Sunshine specifically being announced at some point for the Switch. So good for them. Good for them.
Yes, and
Never played it.
there is a couple things being discussed about like controls, about how like the GameCube controllers had like longer button presses for the shoulder pads or shoulder buttons, which were important in the gameplay.
Shoulder pads, you say?
Shoulder buttons.
Was that for the GameCube?
Sunshine was, yes.
Yeah, okay, I'm looking at some of the pictures right now.
And that thing that's on Mario's back, the Flood, if you haven't played it, it's a water gun thing, and the speed the water comes out is based on how hard you're pressing the triggers. So the Switch doesn't have that, so they're wondering how they managed to do it. We'll see. But the biggest debate going on right now is they're making it a limited run, which would make sense if it was just physical, because physical is in less demand these days. But it's also a limited digital run. So after,
so does that mean it's going to be on sale for a weekend or something?
Well, no. See, that would have been outrage, because I think that's very sketchy business stuff. Just increasing demand. I think it's even illegal in some countries, but
goodness.
But no, they're going to run it for 6 months or so. It's going to end in March 30th, something like that, the end of March. And then the people who have bought it, and even if you've uninstalled it, you'll always be able to re-download it, and it's still yours permanently. But for everybody else, no, they won't be able to buy it after that. And added to this debate is that the Switch right now, it's really hard to find for the MSRP price.
Elaborate.
There's just not a lot of them available to buy in certain areas. You just have to.
Oh, you mean the Switches themselves?
Yeah. So if this was the reason you wanted to buy the Switch, which a lot of people want to buy a Switch for this now, there's nowhere to find one for a good price.
Yeah, I think in regards to that, I think the best place that I've been, because I've recently parted ways with my Switch, may it rest well. You could find some on Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's really dependent on your area though.
Oh yeah, your area, and also the chances that these people aren't going to try to screw you and ask $100 more than what you could get it at like Target for or whatever.
I mean, at this point, since the sales have been going up for the system, Nintendo probably just needs to make more of the system. Just make them faster. I know during COVID it's difficult, but I think they actually have a decent handle on it over there, so I'm pretty sure they could be making more.
Boy, it depends on who you ask, huh?
Well, they've had issues with this in the past.
COVID?
Well, no, Nintendo has had issues with production of consoles. They always have a short amount of them, always. And I understand you don't want to make too much, but
you don't want to make too little.
Yeah, and they always have this problem. It's like, at least learn from it from the first 8 consoles.
Okay. All right, be honest with me. Okay?
Yes.
What, in your professional opinion, is the exact right amount of Switches?
Right amount of Switches? I can't give you the answer.
You must.
Well, I can't quantify it because I'm not Nintendo and I don't understand the true sales numbers.
All right.
Here's the correct answer, right?
I don't want to hear it.
It's the exact number of Switches that it would take so that there's actually some in any store anywhere. Because they don't have that right now. It's not like they just went a little bit under and there's like a few families who don't have a Switch. I mean,
they went a little under.
Nobody can find one now. You either have one or you don't have it. And that, I understand on like launch week, but this is crazy. And this happened.
It is crazy.
GameCube had the same problem. The Wii had the same problem. I don't understand.
Did the Wii's sell out?
Yes. Oh man. On launch week, it was impossible to find one.
I think we did talk about that, didn't we? We talked about the Wii. We've had some Wii talk.
The Wii was an interesting system. How do you not talk about it? Motion control. Everyone else tried to copy it and failed.
Yeah. Well, I covet my Xbox Connect, but just kidding. I've never had one. I've never had one. Allow me in the topic of Mandalorian and Disney Plus. We mentioned either last week or 2 weeks ago, or again, time has no construct. Mulan, the live action remake of Mulan. Disney announcing that it will be coming to Disney Plus exclusively. You'll need a Disney Plus Disney Plus subscription, and then you will need to pay another $30, because it's behind a paywall, to view the film and then have access to it. And we kind of, I guess, surmised it to be to make up for the quote unquote loss of, ticket sales or whatever you want to call it. But this past week, I think, Disney announced that Mulan will be available to all Disney Plus subscribers for no extra fee on December 4th.
So you just wait a bit.
I guess so.
Well, they needed to add something like that. We weren't the only ones talking about it. There were some people actually
No,
like
absolutely not.
livid about it. And well,
Well, but it's tough though, right? And again, we discussed it whenever, but what is the quote unquote right thing to do? Not that anyone wants to do the right thing, but when it comes to these specific strange scenarios, I can't begin to imagine having to make a decision and money and billions being at risk and blah blah blah. But
no, yeah, I don't. But even if they had put it out for $10, even if a family like shares one purchase, they don't make $10 on a movie ticket because the theater
right.
takes money out and
Oh yeah.
taxes and all
Oh
that.
yeah.
So they'd still be doing just fine. And I don't think there's any
Right.
like correct answer that they could have predicted, but somebody a part of that decision should have raised a hand and been like, $30 seems a bit high to anyone else
Right.
because
Right. Just wondering.
they're already paying a fee and now $30 people of course they're going to be upset about that. I almost wonder if some of the people in these business situations just do not watch the news or do not understand the public at all.
I mean, I would guess I do not disagree with you, but I would also guess that regardless if they do or not, it's such a cutthroat industry and you need to be making the billions, otherwise you're a failure. You need to make the millions, otherwise you're a failure. I mean, they talk about movies coming out now that like, I don't really have any specific examples, but like, oh, this movie only made 1.5 million, and they can consider that like a loss. And I know that there's so much data and stuff that goes into that and left, right, and the other, but it's insane. It's insane.
I would only call something a loss if they actually spent more than they made. But I think
I would consider a loss if no one paid anything to see it or to view it.
well, they're going to make a ton of money on this. And
Right,
the
right.
interesting thing about doing it this way, and it's pure profit for them in terms of they're making money off of not giving some of the money to the theaters, right? Because the theaters take a cut to show the movie. And I don't know. I mean, I feel like that they're getting more out of it this way. But of course, I don't necessarily think that the allowing everyone to just wait a while and see it for free is the best option either. You're
Yeah,
just
yeah.
throwing money away at that point.
Well, because I was just thinking, I genuinely wonder what percentage of people are going to be either A, oh my gosh, our family's really excited to see this, so we don't mind, throwing $30 and watching this as a family, or B, the families that are like, we're gonna wait till December 4th or whatever. Because I'm sure there are people in both camps, which is totally fine, but I wonder where the majority, if any, lies.
I, for one, am willing to wait. Mulan is my
Oh,
favorite
yeah.
Disney movie, but
You've shared.
I mean, I'd rather honestly just have a movie night and watch the original.
Right. With Mushu.
Right. Okay. So that's I may have said that mostly like a joke the last time we talked about it, but for sure, it is upsetting that Mushu's not showing up, as far as I know, unless they've just kept him hidden from all the trailers.
I was gonna say this might be the best kept secret of Hollywood, but time will tell.
But yeah, I'm willing to wait. I mean, it's going to be free. I don't want to just throw $30 out, especially for a movie I'm not sure is going to be good or not. Because if they change things, that'll bother me regardless if the movie's good. So I already know that about myself.
You know yourself like a book.
Yes.
Like a fairly well-read book that you yourself have read.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I'm trying to come to grips with being okay with reading ebooks instead of having paper copies. Sorry, go ahead.
oh yeah. On that same point, I'm not. I have to have a book in my hands. So.
Oh my gosh! But like, also, complete side note. I apologize. So I ended up getting a free iPad from a family member. It was an older one from a few years ago, whatever. And so I'm using it for my Marvel Unlimited and Comixology apps mostly. So that's where I read that stuff. And I love reading my comics and stuff on there. And I've kind of come to terms with, all right, for a while I was buying, physical comics at the shop and doing the thing. But I was like, man, it's just so convenient to just have this and not have to try to find more space and things like that. And then when it comes to books, I'm not going to totally give up on books just yet, mainly because I'm still reading several now. But I don't know. Sorry, that's an existential crisis of mine. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's fine.
Well, I don't know. I have problems. It's part of the
Focusing.
allure when reading is turning the page, and it's like a
No, I get it,
the
and you can see your progress
yes.
if you put a bookmark in it, all that good stuff. I'm on board. I agree.
So anyway, that's part of the charm of it all for me.
Yep, yep, yep.
Speaking of retconning, like we were
I
talking
love
about,
retconning.
I don't. So
Oh,
I don't like when they make. I like changes when they work. I don't like changes when they don't.
that's a shirt, my friend.
Yes.
Continue.
So
I like changes when they work, he says.
I want that on a shirt, actually.
I
So
love it. I love it.
recently, and I think I've talked to you about this. There's a horror game that came out 5-6 years ago now, called Five Nights at Freddy's. It's a horror game.
Oh yeah.
It's very
Hot
simple
topics.
in
Oh yeah.
premise, where you're a security guard and the animatronics are trying to kill you, and you gotta not
It's quite
die.
charming. Yeah.
It's an interesting game. It's scary, definitely, especially since I've always been afraid of animatronics.
Of course.
One of my
Who
childhood
isn't?
fears. Chuck E. Cheese's haunts me to this day. Anyway,
Yeah, yeah.
so I actually started going down this rabbit hole of YouTube videos because I was
Oh no.
doing homework. I need to watch something.
Of
A
course.
YouTube channel called Game Theory, I think is what it's called.
Okay.
And he just does theories on games and things that may or may not be true. But he started doing them on the games, the Five Nights at Freddy's games, and the games got really popular. And there's many of them now. 6. No, I think there's 7 games now with an 8th one on the
Not
way.
6. No, they're really?
Yes, and there's
separate games?
yes, and there's books too, like an expanded lore.
There's a greater Mythos.
There
I'm
is.
sorry. You can slap me if you want.
No,
I'm so
I was
sorry.
gonna make the joke if you
Oh
did.
my! Oh, I beat you to it. I'm sorry.
Someone has to make the joke.
Oh
but
my
so I
gosh,
got
I'm gonna
into the
Google
greater quote unquote mythos, and this
Oh my
guy has
gosh.
been making video theories about the games and the story and connections, and
Wow.
the creator of the game caught on, and so he's actually like made public posts about the theorist and said some of these are wrong, some of these are right,
Wow.
and it's the guy's made like 30 videos about it too. Every time there's a new game or book released, he makes another video about like the new revelations.
Hmm.
I've only played like 10 minutes of the first game, and here I am watching 25 videos while I'm
You're
doing all my
diving
homework.
deep. You're diving deep.
And it's interesting. I'm not even a huge fan of horror games, mostly because they're horror games and they're hard to play.
Right. I agree.
But I don't know. This is really interesting because what the creator's doing, and I've seen other developers do this too, where the game story isn't exactly told to you or shown or something you read. It's like you get it in pieces and you have to look for it. You have to work for the story. And I know one big thing about the Souls games that I really like was that it did that, where like item descriptions and the looking in the environment and finding secrets is how you find the story. And apparently they do it in this game series too.
How? So hang on. Allow me to politely interject. So what? There's 6 games thus far. Is that what you said?
I think there's an 8th one on the way,
Are,
and there's even
are
more
they
books.
okay? Oh, hang on. First question: are all the games the same gameplay
No,
loop? No.
the second one is a more complicated, not really complicated, just a more expanded version of the first, with new new things trying to kill you and
Of course,
new
yes.
game mechanics. The third one was different. If I'm getting the numbers right, remember I haven't actually played any of them. I'm just going off what I've seen.
You're very, very loosely based.
I think the third one was you were in some kind of a dungeon with newer models of animatronics or whatever, and your job
Oh.
is to try to deactivate them instead of. It's different. It's still a very similar gameplay loop, but then the fourth game comes out, and now you're a young kid in an old in your house in the middle of the night,
Yeah.
and you're hearing noises in the hallway, and you're hearing noises in your closet, and
Oh, I'm looking at pictures right now. Why?
and so that game is different because instead of like having doors to close off, like they can come through. You have to like use your flashlight to stop them. But even that was still very similar to the gameplay loop.
Yeah.
But in all of these games, there's hidden snippets of Easter eggs you can find which tell you about the
The heck?
story. And like mini games in some of these games that you end up unlocking and playing through that tells you the story. And there's all these different characters, and apparently the overarching
The multiverse.
yes, in the greater mythos of
Ah.
this story is that there was two families, and the fathers of both families ran a business together, or at least we thought at first, but they both built animatronics for the Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Company, which is just Chuck E. Cheese's basically. And there's been a series of child murders and killings, which, of course, it's a horror game. It has to be something terrible. But,
Wow.
and you end up finding out about the kids who died and who did it, and how the animatronics are related to the dead kids and are possessed by the kids or something. I don't know.
What? What?
But it keeps going and going and going, and you end up finding
You've
out.
been talking, yeah.
But like, if they're then they eventually released a game called Ultimate Custom Night, which has all the characters from all the games that had come out prior, and it's basically just a standard Five Nights at Freddy's game where you can turn on which characters you want to play against, and the more you
Oh.
turn on and the higher difficulty you put them at, the harder it is to survive the 5 nights.
Oh.
So you can turn like all 52 characters on. By the way, there's 52 enemies in these games now.
And
you can-
that's
But then for people, and it took a while, like, I mean, several weeks before someone ended up beating it with all the characters on the max difficulty, but someone managed to do it. And then they publicized what they found. And there's the ending you get is different, of course, and has story and lore implications. And so then the theorist guy sees that and does his videos. And I'm over here only hearing about half of it because I'm doing my homework.
right.
But it was interesting. And
Wow.
I mean, I'm looking at game developers and I'm thinking, well, this is how you do it, right?
Right.
He made a simple horror game where robots are trying to kill you and you
Yes.
survive 5 nights and it's really short. And he turned this into this 6 to 7 year long journey with all these stuff with like a dedicated fan base. And it's fun for even people who don't even play the games. It was fun to listen
Right.
to. And I recommend you watch some of them, especially like the first few. It'll get you hooked, but it's just something to have in the background, I guess.
Wow. Well, I can tell you what, I didn't log on getting ready to do the podcast and expect to get such a educational review of the Five Nights at Freddy's world. That's insane.
Well,
what
I wasn't ready either till YouTube recommended. It was like, yes, you
oh
are.
my
Get
gosh,
ready.
none of us were ready. So, to your knowledge, when you said they were books, are they just like, is it straight up like dictionary lore building, or is it like story arcs or whatever?
So there's 2 kinds of books as far as I know. There's the stories, which sometimes use related characters and sometimes use new characters, but there's always references to the game and there's always lore implications and things added and things explained. Because interestingly enough, the story still hasn't been figured out. The creator will.
Is that kind of like the Hello Neighbor games? Like we don't know what the story is, or has that been confirmed? We know what the story is. What's in that basement? What's he hiding?
It's similar to that. Like, we know a lot of things that he has confirmed over the years, mainly because of this theorist channel and other people figuring stuff out. And like when he releases a teaser for a game, just to tell you what kind of a writer this guy is, like it'll just be an image on his website. There are several things that you just do by default now to figure things out for him that he's been known to do. You have to lighten up the image to see text hidden in the picture. You have to go to the website source code, and there's actually like descriptions of things. And at one point, he has 2 websites, by the way. And at one point, their source codes were literally talking to each other, having a conversation. And of course, people figured all this out. But it's like this cryptic stuff is fun. And I think we talked about it in the past about Fortnite. It always comes up with Fortnite.
Yes.
But
oh my gosh, the weekly roundup of Fortnite.
But like they did that when they were like announcing their new season. They were like releasing clues and sending the fan base on a wild goose chase to figure things out. That is cool, and I wish more developers did stuff like that. Just like hints and stuff and clues.
Well, I think what really does it is when it's centered around a game that you weren't expecting to have that much background on, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, he didn't have to do this. He could have released his game, made his million, and
lived the rest of his life, right?
but he didn't. He has a passion for it. Apparently, like you hear about the story of the developer about how he had he wanted to be a game developer all his life, and he had several projects that didn't work out. And finally, this one hits it off. And you can see it wasn't about the money for him. He wanted a successful game, and he puts so much effort into it. And he, like, for 2020, he announced there was going to be like 4 books and 3 games. And he's going to
say that again.
4 books and 3 games in 1 year, and he's doing it by himself. He has like a team of people work with him now, but for the most part, he writes the story for the books, and he works with one other person on them. And these latest set of 6 books that he's been working on have been like filled with short stories, but they have implications and they explain things from the story, and people still haven't figured it all out yet. But I just think it's incredible. It's fun, you know? I mean, I'm not going to play the games because I'm not into horror games, but it's fun to listen and watch, and they've done that with other games before, and that's cool.
I have a lot to think about.
Well, if you really want to, you can watch the videos. I'll link the first one for you after. It's definitely an entertaining watch. You can just have it on in the background while you're doing other stuff. Because there's a lot of the videos. There's like a playlist I found that has all of them.
Well, I look forward to the next roundup of Five Nights at Freddy's Mythos. That's insane. That's, oh my gosh. I'm just having flashbacks to dark hallways and mechanical things. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they're creepy games. I still think that I'm going to have you and Sarah play at least some horror game on Halloween this year.
Hey man, I'm all for it. Well, in the spirit, that's the perfect transitional piece if you don't know, in the spirit of, because you can say it even if it has nothing to do with the previous topic, of large worlds, of vast book world building and foundational things. In the spirit of all of this, have you or have you not seen the teaser trailer for the Lord of the Rings Gollum game?
Just a Gollum game coming out?
You had no idea?
No.
Oh my gosh. I'm sending you a link. Hey, okay. I was going to ask a question that had to do with a conversation 30 minutes ago. I'm not going to do it though. Yeah, there's a Gollum game coming out. It's legit. It's legit in the sense of it's not an indie game to my knowledge or anything like that. I'll have to Google the developer. But yeah, you play as Gollum.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm Googling this real quick. Yeah, so it's a first look. The speculation is it's going to be, largely based around slinking around, stealth, all that jazz. Presumably it's going to be taking place, before the main trilogy, or before Fellowship, I should say. I'm not sure where it's going to land as far as The Hobbit is concerned.
Well, yeah. I mean, if it's a stealth game, if you're able to use the ring to turn invisible, then it would have to be before Hobbit. But if there's no ring, then it's after Hobbit.
Oh my gosh, I haven't seen this yet. This is a video of some screenshots and stuff, concept art, and it looks like you're going to have voice or like dialogue options.
What? As Gollum?
Yeah, as Gollum. Wow, I'm seeing this for the first time. I apologize. This is...
We need to speak to a certain family member of ours who's good at voice acting to get him involved with this game.
He's good at voice acting?
For that character, for Gollum. Have you ever heard his Gollum voice?
I mean, no. Like, oh, no.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Dylan.
Oh, no. I thought you were talking about someone else. That's bizarre. No, that makes total sense.
You should hear his Gollum voice. It's actually pretty good.
I think I have, actually, now that you mention it.
Dialogue options. What are they, just like something, and then my precious?
It's like, shut up. One like the picture that I saw, like one said shh, the other one said like leave us alone, like all these, stuff like that. Here, I'm going to send you this link. You can watch it at a later time.
I am intrigued.
Yeah.
I am also confused as to how they can make a game out of that one character.
Correct. And why that?
Yeah, why even make the decision?
Why? Like, out of everything, why? It's not even worth asking, I guess. I don't know. Gosh.
When they could have been making a Third Age remake. I mean...
or even Lord of the Rings Conquest remake, There are options.
I don't know if they'll be able to... No, Pandemic doesn't exist anymore. I don't know who has the rights to that.
Does it not? All the restaurants are closed again. We don't need to talk about it, but...
The company Pandemic.
Ugh,
The ones that
no.
made it, that made Battlefront 1 and 2, and they made what's that? It's like the GT
Oh, you said pandemic. Sorry, I
Yeah,
thought you meant outside. That's good. That's
the
good.
people who also made like the
Mm.
Mercenaries games too. They're
Good
gone.
games. Good games.
Yeah, I had fun with all the games they made. I'm really upset. One of my favorite
All the
developers.
games. Hmm.
Well, I'll play it. It's Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Well, I
I'll
mean,
consume.
yeah.
I'll
Well,
consume it. It's.
at that point, why not? Right. I mean, you can't. It's not going to go away just because you don't play it. So
I mean, I've
you
played
know what?
every other Lord of the Rings game they've made, so might as well
Add it
keep
to the
on that
list.
train.
Add it to the list.
So we talked about Fortnite earlier. So actually, I
Yeah, we
had a
did.
Fortnite topic that's not about Fortnite. Um,
What?
you'll see in a second.
Heresy.
So have you heard of Fall Guys?
Yes, I am loosely familiar with Fall Guys.
So it
They're
got
in
like
season 2 and it's been out for like a month.
yeah, it's really really popular, like out of nowhere, and so it's
Popping off.
my transition from Fortnite to that is basically it's like the new Fortnite. Everyone's playing it, all the streamers are playing it, all the kids are playing it.
Yeah.
It's a party game.
Right. And that's the thing though, and that's what I was thinking of is games like Fortnite and, other examples that I for some reason can't think of. I'm bringing up Fall Guys footage so I can
Mhm.
watch. There very rarely are there games that go off on Twitch, like besides CS:GO and stuff like that. They are these colorful, not super serious types of games. It's very interesting.
Well, because I think the reason
Easy
why
concepts,
well, yeah, I think that's easier for the streamers to pick up and just play, right?
Sure.
They want a low energy type game so they can interact with their chats and have fun time, I guess. And so if the streamers are playing it, of course, the streamers are popular, they're famous, so then all the kids are going to follow suit. But
Remember Hyperscape?
what's that?
Sorry, it's that weird Ubisoft futuristic battle royale that came out a while ago. I have a commercial for it. Go ahead. Sorry.
Ubisoft.
God.
Every time I hear that name, and I haven't even really had that many bad experiences with them, but every time I hear it, it's been like socially engineered in my mind to have a negative reaction.
Socially engineered. Why? Why that? Why? Just because of like open world fatigue?
No, half their games were. Well, Ubisoft was the publishers for Assassin's Creed, right? I'm not thinking.
Correct.
Okay, so
Ghost Recon, yeah.
Assassin's Creed went like first game, second game, Ezio trilogy, and then I don't remember the rest because they went downhill. Yearly released games. Same with COD. That was my problem with Call of Duty. Like
Cold War was released, by the way, or announced. Not that we need to talk about it, but I thought you'd make fun of me for it. But we don't
speaking
have
of the secrets in Five Nights at Freddy's lore and all that, they did that with their release of this game. We had talked about it too. How they did like the codes in Warzone map.
Yeah. To seek it out, little Easter eggs and
that's
stuff.
cool. I want developers. I know I already said this, but I want developers to do that all over the place.
To care about their game.
Yes, because if you
aside from just putting it out.
Because what that is that shows that yes, sure, Activision might be greedy and they have their hands in everything, but at least the Treyarch developers, they're still gamers at heart, and that's what that shows. They want to have.
Presumably,
this is a game made for fun. Let's put that first. The money will come. You're making a Call of Duty game. People are going to buy it. You don't need to be greedy about it at this point.
Right.
But that's it. Anyway, that stuff's cool to me. And this Five Nights at Freddy thing is all like one guy. He's
right.
I wish developers would see that he's making a killing doing this, and this is a way to do it. And it's probably more fun for him too.
Well, it's sometimes, and I'm not saying that Five Nights at Freddy's falls specifically into this category, but it really appears that the obvious. Let me rephrase this.
Rephrase it.
I'm trying to think. It shouldn't come as a surprise to bigger corporations that sometimes all you need in concept is a Five Nights at Freddy's. All you need in concept is a Fall Guys. All you need in concept is a, Fortnite. What I mean by that is just, again, in concept and gameplay, these are not complicated games.
Nope.
They are straightforward. More or less every round or match is the same, not in a negative way. It's just, this is what the goal is, play your heart out. And so as I'm watching this Fall Guys gameplay, and I heard some other people on other podcast I was listening to talk about it. One of them said that he loved playing it with his friends because it is a party game, but he wouldn't be playing it by himself because
Hmm.
he can't make fun of himself and feel good about it. So, but yeah, it's just interesting stuff.
Yeah, and that's interested. That's a good point too. That developers need to look at this, like AAA developers and publishers need to look at this and see, wow, there's money to be made while also
Right,
having just a purely fun
letting the hair
experience.
down.
Right. Because with, boxes, loot boxes,
I love them.
and creating, I don't know.
Please take my money.
Then you've got all these games coming out with like being related to real life politics either side. And it's like, look,
What game is that?
so, well, first Last of Us 2 is one of them, but there's been more.
Oh my god!
A lot of games have come out.
Please show me Joel dying again.
No, thank you. So, I don't know. I think that.
Oh, spoiler for Last of Us 2. I apologize. Doesn't really matter, I guess, does it? Sorry, Chris, who was really looking forward to playing Last of Us Part 2.
I'm sure he was not. Well, but my point is basically, hey, look, these games are fun. They have these lores. Their developers are having fun. The people are having fun. And it's kind of the point of games, right? Like, you can make...
No way.
Multiplayer games can have competitive esports and all that stuff, and they do, and they will. And there'll be people who will play single-player games to speed run them and get that best score or whatever. But at its core, the bulk of the people who are going to play your game are doing it because, look, they got home from work or school, they're tired, they're stressed, they want an escape.
Yep.
And that's what games provide, and not all of them provide the same level of escape.
Sure. Well, and everyone likes a different kind of escape.
And that's
true.
There
is, there's your Fall Guy escape, which is, and again, I don't mean this in a negative way, in my opinion, a game where you can truly turn off your brain and mindlessly play and have fun. Whereas a Warzone, that's a let your hair down in the sense of you're alleviating stress by focusing in on staying in the circle, by not dying and, being the last one to survive and kind of just, channeling that, whatever, not to be a psychologist or anything, but it's all good. There's many different outlets.
Correct. And that's true. Call of Duty does speak to a lot of people. It's a way to, go around and shoot guns and kill enemy
shoot
players.
Guns.
And you know what? It's therapeutic to some people.
Absolutely.
But if there's one type of game, well, two types of games really, that are basically flooded on the market, it's first-person shooters and it's survival games. Like, there's everywhere now. Well, survival games has been dying down lately.
Yeah. What do you think are, side note, what are the top, 3 survival games that come to your mind currently?
Well, the big
specifically.
The big ones that I can think of, Minecraft.
Really?
I know it's a crafting game, but the survival part, big survival crafting games.
Yep.
That one. There was another one I played recently. The ones I'm thinking of are computer games, though, so that's probably not. Well, also
that's fine.
Terraria is a big one.
Terraria. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's basically a 2D Minecraft, but there's a lot more to it than that. But
sure.
There's a whole bunch. Like Metal Gear Survive, which forbid we ever talk about that game.
Wow, I forgot. What the heck? No, and I only asked because I was struggling to think of some myself. I was thinking of there's the one game we very briefly, I think, talked about a while back, The Long Dark.
Yeah.
The Long Dark, which is really cool art style, kind of stuck in the middle of Alaska or something like that, the depths. What's the other one? Not PUBG. DayZ, I think, was one of them. That's kind of a survival one.
There's also Rust. There is, I had it in my head, the Dead Rising games, I think.
Oh yeah, Dead Rising.
So there's a bunch of them, and a lot of them also incorporate zombies of some kind too.
Sure, Dead Island too is another one.
Yes.
Dying Light. Dying Light was a good game.
So
wasn't Dying Light 2 announced? Sorry, go ahead. I'm talking to myself.
I don't know about that. I don't know anything about Dying Light 2. But they were all over the place for the last decade, and then shooting games have always been popular since their inception. And they're all over the place. I think a developer coming onto the space now or looking to make a new IP, don't jump into those because they're flooded. Unless you are really passionate about making a game like that and you have new ideas. Otherwise, I'd say pick a genre that needs some love, something that you also love. And the players will show up. There's people, every genre has dedicated fan base now. So
Right. Indeed.
I think that's more important than just making the next Call of Duty clone. Because we have
I think
enough
that's
of
beautiful. Is this already out?
those. What?
Hang on.
Dying Light
Dying
2?
Light. Yeah, hang on.
Maybe.
Wait, whoa, hang on. Wait.
Not very up to date on the news there, Josh.
Hang on. Shush, shush your mouth.
I mean, I don't know either, but
Gave a spring 2020. Oh, no. Okay, we're good. It said Dying Light 2 originally gave a spring 2020 release window, but in January 2020, Techland announced that the sequel has been delayed. Because I remember they did put out like a full gameplay video that was last year. Yeah, of August 26th. Sorry, were you going to say something before I so rudely interrupted?
No, I wasn't.
Wonderful. Well, all right. Yeah, wow. Games are fun sometimes. I struggle with them. Hey, what do you think? Hang on, let me... Oh, he just chopped that dude's head off. Huh. You can't see. I'll stop. So as we're getting somewhat close to our time, I think one thing that would be amiss. Is it amiss or remiss? Remiss. Of course it is. I think we would be remiss to. We mentioned it. I think we mentioned it last week before the DC talk. I think we would be remiss to not bring things full circle and just spend a few, not a long time, but just a few moments discussing your completion, more or less, of the Mission Impossible franchise.
Yeah, so
yeah,
it was interesting. I had never actually seen them, much like my lack of viewing of John Wick. That seems like everybody has seen those franchises, and I just never had.
Right.
Never came up. But yes, I watched them all. I've seen all the Mission Impossibles except for the first one, interestingly.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to go back and rewatch that one too at some point.
Sure. But I have it.
Yeah, they were good. I liked them. Some were more interesting to me than others, but I liked them all.
So you saw, I believe, so I think the first one you saw was 2, right? When we came over?
Yeah, and I remember your first discussion of it was, so this one's seen as the worst one, but we're going to watch this one.
Oh my gosh. Well, we had to, because I was taking Sarah through them all and all that good stuff. So you saw 2, you saw 3, you guys watched 3 without us just because it had to happen. You saw Ghost Protocol, which is 4, 5, you saw Rogue Nation, and then Fallout. Mm-hmm. So I know it's been a few weeks since we capped that off. What are some of the highlights, so to speak? What do you remember the most? Which one, if you had one, which one was your most liked? How many Tom Cruises out of 10 would you give Mission Impossible Fallout?
Fallout, the new one? I think the new one is my favorite.
It's pretty good.
It's really good. Might be a little biased because Henry Cavill, but
of course. Witcher season 2 has started filming. Continue.
I'm excited about that too.
Of course.
I mean, you can't say no to the Hammer.
No, you cannot. You don't even try it. Don't.
Or I Am the Storm.
That's my god.
If you haven't seen
the series,
if you haven't seen
it's so good. I got so passionate. Oh my gosh.
Well, of course you did, because the entire franchise is a male power fantasy. But
oh my gosh.
Well, but you know what? It's great. That's what it set out to do, great. And that's what it did. And I'm still going to get you to watch the Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah.
Because you can't deny that you would like them. Like, oh man.
No, not at all. And I'm not against the idea of liking them or watching them. I think this. I do not say this as a cop out, just as a general thought. At this point, when you look at a franchise or a book series or a game series or whatever, and it's more than 3 deep, it starts to kind of look like quite a chore. Not necessarily in a negative way, but just like, oh, that's a good amount of time. But also Mission Impossible was more than 3 too, so I completely understand.
And you went through Twilight, so I mean, that's 5 deep, and you did it.
I will not be mocked.
Not mocked. I'm just saying, if you accepted that one, then you know what?
There was some politics behind the scenes of that. Okay,
yes, there was. But you know what? Speaking of politics, Sarah wasn't the only one that you forced to watch these movies. Not like I didn't like them.
I didn't force anyone.
Okay, well, I just was there. Hey, they're coming over. We're gonna watch a movie.
I'm logging off. I don't need this.
So anyway, Firefly that I'm having you watch
Yep,
is
yep, yep, yep,
my
yep, yep, yep.
answer to your Mission Impossible. But I
Yeah.
also had to sit through the Twilight movies a second time. I'd already seen them, so I had to suffer through them a second time.
Was it really suffering? Do you really think it's suffering?
You telling me you watched the entire first Twilight movie and you didn't feel a little bit of pain?
The first one was not the. Listen. Listen. They're not winning any awards, right? But I do feel my voice is raised. I do feel. Listen, I know they're not good, okay, but they're not the worst, right? Like they're not good. I get it, but like there's worse, right? Am I losing my mind?
Worst movies?
Am I just yelling in this dark room by myself right now?
Objectively, yes, there are worse movies. But just because a movie is objectively worse doesn't mean it hurts more. Those are different spectrums there.
I'm not trying to defend them or anything. I don't know.
I enjoyed parts of the Twilight movies. I will always enjoy parts of them. But the early parts and the Bella scenes just
oh my, yeah. Well,
I have trouble with that, and it's not enjoyable.
I have trouble with that.
I wasn't even the one who was
just
most upset during that. In fact, it was Sarah who was the most upset about that character, which I found entertaining.
Let's move away from the Twilight saga before we lose another subscriber from the family.
But that is my point, that
right
after we finish Firefly, I still am owed one more series.
Oh my goodness.
So
is it Fast and Furious, that series?
It's not that Fast and Furious is my favorite thing ever. It's that I want to see you watch Fast and Furious.
Well, again, I've seen at least 2 of them. And I as I'm saying this, it's not an excuse to not watch them. That's not why I'm saying it. I've seen at least 2 of them, and I am engrossed, if that's the correct word, in the world of all of this stuff. So I'm very well familiar with the story, the characters, and the twists and the turns. And it's just weird, man. It's just one of those things where like I get it, but it never stuck out to me. Like I really want to see these from start to finish.
Well,
does that make sense?
That's where the value in it comes, though, because unlike the Mission Impossible movies, there's some recurring characters.
You watch your tongue.
But
there's recurring characters in Mission Impossible.
I said there is. But
for Fast and Furious, I raised my voice. I'm sorry. It's getting late. I'm getting tired. I didn't mean to be grumpy.
Well, you know what? It'll end as soon as you let me finish, Josh.
You just watch your tongue, okay?
Listen, okay, so there's recurring characters in both, but Fast and Furious is definitely more character focused and not just look at how amazing Ethan Hunt is, which is still fun movies. And
he's pretty amazing, though, right?
He is amazing. Maybe a little too amazing. I think that's
oh my God.
That's the whole point of the movie.
Scalpel. He's the scalpel.
Yes. I am the storm. We get it. We get it. Ethan.
He's the storm.
We get it, Tom Cruise. So anyway, these movies have these characters, and they're built up, and their interactions with each other. It's like it becomes a star cast, and by Fast 5, 6, 7, 8, you're really invested in these characters. And the movies can even have terrible stories and plot lines, but they have great action scenes and great characters, and that's why you watch.
Sure.
And I want you to get to that point. I want you to experience that.
Sure. Well, and this is not meant to be a controversial statement and or a hot take, but dare I say that the equivalent to Ethan Storm, that was an accident, believe it or not. Ethan Hunt, aka the Storm, the equivalent to him in the Fast and Furious movies is all of the car stuff. So when it's hyper realistic or hyper realism power trip of Ethan Hunt, it's the same thing with these big sweaty dudes in their cars. You know what I'm saying? That's not bad or negative. It's just that I feel like you pick your poison.
I don't know. I'm not a car guy by any means. And the first movie definitely is about the racing and the street racing, and the second movie has
stealing TVs.
Right, and there's stuff involved within all of them about cars, of course. But the cars aren't the only Ethan Hunt in those movies. And Ethan Hunt's not the only Ethan Hunt in his own movies. I mean,
He's not the only Ethan Hawke.
flipping helicopters and hammers, but
So good. Okay, I don't want to hear it. They freaking don't they hijack a submarine in one of the movies? Listen, man.
oh, Fast and
Listen.
Furious goes up there too.
All
I
right.
think both series have something to do with stopping a nuke, but you know what? It's just,
Stopping a nuke.
they're all
What's up with nukes? And
they're, the end of the world stuff. I don't know.
I love it.
I'm gonna have you watch them eventually. That was my whole
Hey,
point,
man.
and case rested.
I'm all on board. I have no ill will. And with that, we need to wrap up. Hey, big news. Big news for us mostly.
Exciting.
Yeah, exciting. So next week will be our 10th episode. This is a big milestone for us for some reason. I don't know. I guess it is. We're gonna, oh my gosh, hopefully it actually happens and we're not just setting this up for failure and it just doesn't happen. We're gonna meet. We're gonna be in the same room for the first time. We're going to have our equal brother be a part of the podcast. We're going to have a very Star Wars centric episode. All things Star Wars. I can already hear the sound of eyes rolling all across podcast platforms everywhere. You know, Star Wars hot takes, man. A lot of hot takes in Star Wars, and especially with this brother Chris. We've mentioned you before. We look forward to it. It's going to be a big deal. At least for us, and if not for anyone else, just for us. What do you think?
What do you think? It's going to be fun, and I'm excited and looking forward to it.
Oh my gosh!
And I need to see your results of that quiz.
Man, I got to take it again. It was tweaking out on me. But hey, this is the Great Mythos podcast. Give us a little rate, leave us a review wherever you're at. Subscribe on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts. We're on YouTube as well. New episodes every Friday. That's our goal. Hey, thanks for listening. We're happy to be here. Thanks for putting us in your ears. And with that, we're just gonna mosey on out of here.